Oh, welcome. We are waiting to begin in a few minutes, but welcome to everyone.
I don't know if this is it or not. I don't think this is it.
Hey, Grandpa, you're not muted. Oh, there you go. And you're in the right place. Don't worry.
Recording in progress.
That's you. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I was supposed to hang up with you like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love them. And
I will.
They had a wonderful day. Call me later.
All right. I love you.
All right, let's go.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, this is it, Bill.
Hello and welcome everyone to the white coat ceremony for the class of 2022. We're going to start right away with the head of our department, Dr. Ross Arena.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is a very special event that we started a few years back, and always very excited to pick this up. But very sorry we can't do it face to face. But nonetheless, I'm sure this is going to be a really wonderful celebration and a great rite to passage for our PT students. It's a very important event. And we're just, as I meeting with the third year class yesterday, in the awards ceremony, we just are so proud of all of our students every year, but to the degree that everyone has responded in such a amazing way with such challenging times, it's really such an honor to be part of this group and to have the students that we have in our program. You always do such a wonderful job representing the department and the profession, and I'm sure that will continue. And so without further ado, I will hand it off to more important people for today's events and get started.
Thank you. We are moving on to the selected speaker that the students in the class chose to speak at this event. So welcome Dr. Laura Thorpe.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you, everyone. I want to say I apologize in advance if you hear my children in the background. So we're always keeping it real here at the Thorpe household. 4 small boys downstairs, but I told them to be quiet, so I'm sure they'll listen to me. So I just want to say first, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you on this important occasion. I'm truly honored to be part of this experience with you, not only today, but also over the past 2 years. You have accomplished so much, and you're about to embark on the next phase of your journey. I hope that you reflect on your time to date in the program with pride. I believe I speak for all of the members of the faculty when I say that we are most definitely proud of you. When you're asked to give a speech like this, I think one feels the desire, even perhaps the responsibility, to say something inspiring. And given the time that we currently find ourselves in, I guess I feel that responsibility even more presently. The experiences of this past year, this ceremony even, are not what any of us would have expected or hoped for. You know, at the heart of being a physical therapist is a connection, both physically and emotionally, between a therapist and a patient. We've spent the past year distancing from each other, connecting on computers, and living in states of uncertainty, disappointment, sometimes fear, and most definitely loss. At first glance, certainly not the most inspiring of times. But as I think about the past year in my own life, and as I reflected on what I would say to you all today, I was struck by how sometimes, in times that are difficult, mundane, and uninspiring, inspiration is actually waiting right under the surface if we have our eyes open and our minds open, and we pause and we look deeply enough. One of the reasons I love my job, besides my profound and perhaps peculiar love of anatomy, is I think that you all remind me of a very pivotal time in my own life. Like many things in life, I didn't appreciate this at the time while I was immersed in it. While I did not go to PT school in the midst of the challenges and monotony of a global pandemic, PT school was certainly challenging and not always exciting for me. We didn't have hours of video lectures and Zoom, but we certainly had our fair share of mundane 8 to 5 classes surrounded by the same faces, our own kind of Groundhog Day at times. But little did I realize that during one of those sleepy 8 a.m. anatomy lectures, a man named Gary Mattingly would change the trajectory of my life. I have to laugh when I think about that PT school is where I figured out I wasn't going to be a PT, but rather an anatomist. I still remember my parents said, "A what?" I'll be in trouble also if I don't mention that PT school is where I met my husband. There he was on a cold January day on a seemingly mundane acute care rotation that I had to complete to fulfill my graduation requirements. And also to get on to my next rotation, which was the one I really wanted to do, which was working on Broadway with dancers. My point is, we never know the moment or the person, a stranger, a CI, a colleague, a patient, that just might change our lives forever. We can choose to set ourselves on cruise control, to check the boxes, to just get through and on to the next thing. And I think in the age of COVID, there's definitely this temptation. We can wait for things to get better, to be normal again. The danger in that, though, is that while we are waiting, life keeps moving, and those pivotal people or moments may just pass us by. So instead, we can choose to dive in, to be present in each moment, each experience, with our eyes open, living life as fully as possible. There's a quote by Alfred Tennyson that has and continues to be very powerful for me. I am a part of all that I have met. If you think about that for a moment, it speaks to the privilege of having a career like a physical therapist or a teacher. It goes both ways, you know. I think it's important to remember that while we should look for inspiration from others, we also are a source of inspiration to those around us. This reminds me of another reason why I love this job so much. Each new class inspires me, and each of you, in your own way, has inspired me to do something better, to avoid complacency, to stretch myself beyond my comfort zone. And I want to offer you sincere thanks for that. So as you go out into the next phase of your training, I challenge you not only to seek inspiration from those around you, but also to remember that you inspire others. And with each interaction, you will become a part of the life story of someone else. This won't always be measured by how well you heal or how well you perform a skill that you have learned in your training, but rather it's often measured in many small and seemingly inconsequential ways. How you pause, how you listen, how you mess up, fall down, and get back up again. Showing up every day, even when you do not feel your best, when you are tired and scared and bored, and when you feel uninspired, means another chance for those little moments where someone might change your life or you might change theirs. So I want to end with a poem. It's actually from a children's book by a man named Chris Williams. And this was given to me, this book, at a very exciting and very scary time in my life. 3 new babies, a new job, lots of excitement, but also lots of uncertainty, and for sure, some fear and trepidation. The words are simple, but they were profound to me at the time. And as you embark on this next phase of your education, I think they're fitting for this moment. So the poem is called The Door. A door, just a door, nothing more than a door. But it's there where you swear there was no door before. And your world is this room that you're comfortable in. But through there is everywhere you've never been. Now the doorman steps forward and asks with a grin, are you going out or are you staying in? Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Laura. Now we're going on to the main part of today's event. And I have to admit, I'm a bit nervous going through this door, trying to do this virtually and share each person's screen that they've prepared, and then go to the room where you're going to get pinned. So bear with me. And students, if you could, recognize a few names before yours, and get ready so that you are unmuted and I can highlight your personal video. That will be most helpful. Oops. I can't hear Dr. Iviota or, okay.
Molly, I can start if you want me to start.
Sure.
Let's do it. So, Stephen Abraham.
I'm gonna replace. Do you see him?
There he is. Looking sharp, Stephen. It's a fresh haircut, Stephen. Looking good.
Thanks.
see him, so. Okay, we're gonna go on.
Courtney Ban.
I'm trying. Oh. Courtney, I don't see your name here. Okay, looks like she's not here, so we're gonna move on.
Next up, Tiffany Bisana.
In her.
It's a nice background, Tiffany. Josh Beamer. Looking good.
That's crazy. That's a lot of years of school.
Pavel Bria.
It is. Oh, is it going on?
Another doctor. How many?
How many?
Nice.
Abigail Kabagai.
So that's where the party's at. Okay. Perseus Cabal.
Jessica Chisholm.
Woo!
Samuel Chung.
John.
Zach Cooper.
Samuel Cross.
Emily Dela Cruz.
I think she might not be here. Are you here, Emily? There we go. Sorry. There you are. Okay, great.
Hannah Demel.
Thank you.
Carissa Devereaux.
Yay, Carissa!
What's going on?
Yay, Carissa!
Bianca Dillon.
Jane Fong.
Happened to her picture. She was there.
Stephanie Fur.
Dakota
see.
Greenwald.
I don't see Dakota on our. Are you here, Dakota?
Michael Hines.
Rachel Hoffman.
Chase Holford.
Rima Holmesy.
Rima! That's my girl.
Mary Jansen.
recording.
Caitlin Jenkins.
Abigail Johnson.
Oh, okay. Oh, of us watching.
William Jung.
We will on our video. There. Move on.
Daniel Kim.
Ratia Kim.
No, we missed it. Didn't wait for more.
Katie Kobeska.
Emily Koshavatsky.
Popcorn and everything.
Madison Koo.
Yeah, your granddaughter's been football.
Go, Maddie!
Taylor Kuhn.
Samantha LaRocca.
Woo! Oh, congrats, balloon.
John Latoha.
Here we go.
Peter Lynn.
Let's go, Peter!
Anjali Mata.
Colin McCarthy.
Okay, we're getting close. Let's change the view to the, no, on the step.
Allison McLean.
Congratulations, Allison. But I clipped you out, Vicky.
He's over there.
What's that?
Just the TV out. Good to
James McDermott.
Marcus Montez.
Mitchell Mulcahy.
Go Mitch.
Kayla Malarkey.
Go Kayla! Woo! Kayla! Woo!
Beata Nika.
Halika dito.
Lauren Apoterney.
Sana hindi pa natapos si Angie.
Caitlin Reichert.
Tapos na yung kanya. R na yan eh. How cute is that?
Sorry.
Maddie Smith.
Noah Ricchetti.
Whoop!
Adriana Schoenfeld.
Yay, AJ, woohoo! Go, Adriana!
Mitchell Sharkey. Madeline Smith.
Hey, woo!
There's my girl.
Congratulations, Maddie!
Woo, we love you.
Jomar Solis.
Haley Spolarich.
Yes, Haley.
Jessica Vasquez.
Let's go!
Jenna Walters.
Nolan Winkleman.
Good job, Nolan! Proud of you, Nolan.
Rachel Wood.
Ovidu Zrempton.
So that concludes the white coat part of the pinning ceremony. If there are any of you that weren't on the call and you are on now, can you please unmute and let us know? So we can highlight you? Okay. Okay, so I'd like to turn it over to our speaker from the class, Zach Cooper.
Many years ago, a friend of mine began to struggle through a very troubling setback. For her, it hurt to move. Even basic everyday tasks, such as running, walking, going up the stairs, will leave her sidelined with a sharp, resonating knee pain. So, like most people do, she went to see her doctor, who took a look at her knee and assured her that with a little rest and some painkiller meds, the problem would go away. And lucky for her, it did, at least for a while, although the pain would return periodically and was gradually becoming a little bit more frequent and a little bit more intense over time. Eventually, it got so bad that she had to cut back on her exercise. And because of this, she started developing some heart problems and chest pain. She went back to her doctor, but the best that he could offer was stronger painkiller meds and now some new pills to manage her heart problem. After a few more years of getting worse and worse, she finally insisted that she needed something else. So her doctor sent her to a surgeon to get some x-rays. The surgeon showed her the images, explained that she had severe arthritis and that if she wanted to feel better, she would need to do a knee replacement surgery. Blindsided by the news, she begged for some other alternative. Isn't there anything I can do, she asked, to stop the arthritis, prevent the surgery, and save the joint? Save it, he looked at her, filled with confusion. Well, to save it, you would have had to start working on it 5, maybe 10 years ago. Now, you're too late. Now, let me ask you, does anything about that experience, from beginning to end, sound like good medical practice to you? And if not, what do you think could have been done differently? Now, in many ways, our modern medical system is amazing. We've eradicated many horrible diseases, and for many conditions, patients are living longer than ever. And yet, the need for knee and hip replacements is the highest it's ever been. And the rates of very serious conditions like hypertension, heart disease, and stroke are skyrocketing. And some experts have even gone so far as to question whether our country's healthcare system will even be able to avoid collapse against the financial strains projected to explode over the next decade. And worst of all, every day you get people like my friends who put their trust in the system only to be told again and again, sorry, you're too late. Although this is tragic, the reality is that things do not have to be this way. What my friend would have needed is some professional who could have gone beyond what she was already getting from her doctor during her yearly checkups, and somebody who had that expertise to assess vitals and evaluate how her cardiovascular system was responding to movement, and could have told her, hey, I know you haven't had any chest pain or heart attacks yet, but based off of what I'm seeing, you might a few years from now. Let's put together a plan to fix this now so that it never gets to that point. What the medical system needs is some type of expert who's so skilled in understanding the human movement system that by feeling the joints, testing the muscles, and just by watching the way somebody moves, can already tell years in advance, hey, I know you're not having any joint pain yet, but you probably will a few years from now. Let me teach you some exercises to fix these issues now so that it never gets to that point where the only option is surgery. In fact, what society needs is exactly what we have been training for years to become. Society is praying that some innovative solution is going to come along to fix these problems and save the country from a brink of a healthcare disaster. Well, guess what? That solution that everybody is hanging their hopes on, it's us. We are that solution. No new drug is going to come along and fix this. No new surgery is going to come along and fix this. No other branch of medicine will swoop in and save the day. By the time patients have even made it to the doctors complaining of these symptoms, it means we were the ones who failed to reach them in time. There is no other expert that has the training that we have, no other providers that can do what we can do, and no other group of people in the world more well-equipped to thwart the oncoming disaster destined to unravel in the absence of our desperately needed expertise. Physical therapists are not really another cog in the medical machine. We're the freaking linchpins, and we have a crucial role to play along every step of the way. For example, in the world of sports and exercise, ACL tears of the knee can be extremely debilitating, and even with the best surgeries, have a high rate of a re-tear, arthritis, and progressive injury. And while working with a physical therapist after an ACL tear can certainly help, one group of experts wanted to see if they could do even better by starting athletes with physical therapy before they became injured, and then waiting to see if the ones who went on to tear their ACL had a better recovery. So did it work? Did these athletes heal better following injury? Well, we'll never know because there barely were any. They found up to 85% reduced risk for the chance of a tear. It turned out that many of those injuries had been avoidable if the physical therapists were able to reach them in time. There should be a physical therapist in every high school, every sports team, every fitness center across the country. But before children can even reach that age, there are already so many types of childhood conditions that can lead to setbacks or obstacles for engaging in physical activity. But when physical therapists are able to reach these children early, they become more mobile, have better social experiences, more participation in school, and can have a completely altered life trajectory. There should be a physical therapist in every preschool and every elementary school across the country. In the workforce, injuries and joint pains can lead to reduced productivity, missed work time, and can ultimately cripple both worker and company earnings. And yet, amazingly, when companies start hiring physical therapists to come on site and help their employees, workers begin feeling better, working better, and taking less sick days. In fact, one company reported that after hiring physical therapists to work on site full-time, they had over $800,000 in annual savings. There should be a physical therapist in every corporate setting and every company across the country. In the medical world, if somebody suffers from a vascular complication like heart attack or stroke, one of the single most important factors that will determine this patient's entire future is how soon afterwards they start moving and rehabbing their injured system. And naturally, this critically essential process falls under the role of physical therapy. But why is it even normal to wait until after a heart attack or a stroke before starting physical therapy. Physical therapy is the single best medicine for preventing these problems from ever even happening in the first place. And for the same reason, why isn't it considered normal to wait until after our joints start hurting to first start seeing a PT? I mean, we do yearly checkups with our doctor to take our blood and our dentist to check our teeth. What about the rest of our body? We should be doing yearly checkups with a physical therapist to check our back or our shoulders, our knees. There should be a physical therapist in every doctor's office across the country. And while all of these settings, elementary school, sports, corporate, and hospitals, may all seem completely different at first glance, the one thing they all have in common is that they depend on our joints and muscles and blood vessels and neuromotor system to support our ability to move our body. And when these start to break down, everything else falls apart along the way. Most other branches of medicine are targeted towards very narrow segments of the population. But in physical therapy, you can help everybody because almost everybody has some sort of back pain, some sort of knee pain, some sort of heart problem that's holding them back from fulfilling life's full potential. And the very few people that don't, they will pretty soon if we fail to reach them in time. If you look at the rising problems projected to cripple our country's healthcare over the next decade, and then you ask yourself, who is the one type of provider in the entire medical chain whose skill set is directly targeted to the true underlying causes of these problems, then it wouldn't be any stretch at all to say that the future of our country's healthcare is in our hands. This current system, this system where people get bounced around between drugs and injections and surgery, and by the time their situation has gotten so bad that they finally can step foot in front of somebody who can actually help them, the best they can hope to hear is, sorry, you're too late. This system isn't working, but it doesn't have to be this way. Change can start with us, right here, right now. It won't be easy. There will be plenty of obstacles along the way. There will be healthcare institutions out there that are more interested in treatment plans that earn the most profits rather than what's best for the patient. There will be other physical therapists out there with their head in the sand, stuck in their ways, resistant to change. And we'll be crossing paths with countless fellow healthcare providers who haven't had a chance yet to experience the indispensable, irreplaceable role that physical therapists play in every patient's outcome. But no matter the obstacle, we must prevail. No matter the cost, we must prevail. For every man with back pain or heart problems who's ever had to take time off of work or miss out on spending time with their kids because they never had access to the right physical therapist. For every woman who could have avoided a lifetime of injuries and surgeries and setbacks if only they had access to the right physical therapist. For every child who could have stayed in school or spent more time with friends or had a better life if they had just crossed paths a little sooner with the right physical therapist. We must prevail because the future of this country's healthcare depends on us.
Zach, please put the meeting over to me again. So it looks like my screen sharing is disabled. I need Zach to change that if you could, and change me to be the host. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask Dr. Girolami to present some closing remarks.
Thank you, Molly.
I know this has been a lot of work, and we appreciate all your work putting this virtual pinning ceremony together. Zachary, thank you for your thought-provoking, and I might add, very evidence-based presentation. Before we move on to the slideshow, I'd just like to close with a few words to congratulate you, the members of the class of 2022. It's been a wonderful pinning ceremony and white coat ceremony, and this marks your transition to the next phase of your professional development, the final leg of your journey to becoming a licensed physical therapist. You should all be proud of your achievements and the dedication you have shown in meeting the challenges of this rigorous academic program. As you leave this academic setting and venture into the clinical world, I'm sure you're filled with many emotions. You're leaving your friends, you're traveling to distant places, but I know that you can channel those emotions to be the best version of yourself, to practice with sensitivity and empathy and the highest levels of professionalism and ethical standards. As you leave the halls of 1919 West Taylor Street, know that we, the faculty, are all here to support you in this next stage of your DPT education. And before we move on to your slideshow, which I'm sure will put a smile on all of our faces, we'd like to take a moment to welcome your guests and to acknowledge and congratulate your family, spouses, partners, and friends, all of the people who have supported you on this journey and have made it possible for you to achieve this highest level of academic success. So have a wonderful first clinical experience. We look forward to hearing about all of your experiences and welcoming you back in fall after you finish 2 of your 3 experiences. So all the best to you. And it's time for us to celebrate with a history of your past 2 years here in the program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Girolami. Here we go. Wait, stop. I think you can't hear that. Is that true? Share sound. Here we go.
So just forget about the world beyond tonight. I'm coming for ya, 'cause all I need is a beauty and a beat who can make my life complete. It's all about you when the music makes you move. Baby, do it like you do. 'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. Yeah, I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the oasis. So I got friends in low places. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. I've got somewhere I belong. I got somebody to love. This is what dreams are made of. vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation. If you don't like your life, then you should go and change it. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.